Ladies and gentlemen, it is my deep honor and pleasure to bring forward to you, in every little sense of the word, a classic. Not just any classic, but a classic for many reasons. This is probably Sega's equivalent to Disney's Sleeping Beauty in terms of being a pivotal title, in some regards a controversial title, but a title that is heavily recognized and, some might argue, still has heavy influences on not just the Sonic franchise, not just Sega, but in some regards, yes, even the video game industry. 'Cause, man oh man, this was when Sega were pulling out the stops, for better or for worse, on two occasions. This would be the game that in some ways would end Sega, but in other ways would give them a new beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow SCWRM members, this is Sonic Adventure 2, specifically Battle HD, for the PC. Brought from the ages of the Dreamcast, forward to the home of the GameCube, even on to the likes of the PS3 and Xbox 360, now brought here in its definitive state, with the help of some mods, which we will credit later. This is arguably the definitive way to play Sonic Adventure 2. But
Indeed.
Before we delve into that, I feel that it is important to set up the mindset of how big this game was. While yes, sadly it was not enough to save the Dreamcast, it was still a pretty big hit. Enough of a hit that, well, when Sega and Nintendo ultimately buried the hatchet, this was Sonic's entry onto the Nintendo GameCube. And the reception was so great that they would later bring Sonic Adventure to the GameCube. Yeah, that's right, Adventure 2 came to the GameCube before the first Adventure, it was that big. But for good reason, because Battle, the, shall we say, re-release of Adventure 2, is what actually added on the two-player stuff. Yes, for those of you who don't know, Sonic Adventure 2, while it does have a heavy emphasis on the dichotomy of good and evil, originally did not have the multiplayer. Heck, you know that amazing intro that you see at the start of Adventure 2 Battle? That was not originally in Sonic Adventure 2. Like, for whatever issues people may have with Battle, I consider Battle the definitive experience, if only just for the fact that it gave us that iconic intro, which, yes, if you've seen Sonic and Shadow do that pose, that's where it came from.
That battle intro is even referenced in Sonic Generations.
Yep, and now Sonic X Shadow Generations is commercial. Now, where was I with this at the time? Well, Sonic Adventure 2 was technically the first ever 3D Sonic game I played, back when I did not recognize that as Sonic. The first Sonic game I ever played was Sonic CD. The first Sonic game in 3D that I ever played proper, yes, I was like free at the time or something.
On Gems Collection, I'm guessing?
Actually, no, not if he was free.
No, actually literally on the computer.
Oh, right, one of the PC versions, got it.
Well, you know, the Sega CD was compatible with a computer and all that jazz, but I digress. Like, so, Sonic Adventure 2 was technically the first ever 3D Sonic game I played, but I didn't really recognize what was going on. Mainly played, like, the multiplayer with a friend over. The first proper 3D Sonic game I played and probably recognized as Sonic was actually Sonic Heroes.
Same.
In fact, I have a bit of a confession. I didn't get to play the adventure games until after I had already played the likes of Sonic Heroes, the advanced games, and Shadow the Hedgehog, and even Sonic Battle. So, that kind of shaped part of my experience with the adventure games. I had a great time, mind you, but that will come up later. But let's try and look at it through the lens of what the world was thinking at the time for Sonic Adventure 2. And what better way to start with than the E3 trailer of 2000, which was essentially the official introduction to this in that regard. So, shall we have a look at the trailer? Sonic Team presents.
Oh, this is the one that was included as an extra in Gems Collection, I think.
No, you're thinking of thinking of something.
Oh, no, not that you said E for each other, then never mind.
Sonic is the Bigfoot.
Yeah, and that's how the logo was originally going to look like. Just to give you an idea.
So here we have Sonic.
Justice evil.
Justice and evil.
Yin Yang.
It sounds like Sonic Riders music.
Light, Shadow.
Speaking of Shadow, I'm noticing a severe lack of him in the trailer.
In fact, you'll notice Sonic in Skyrail Zone as well. Original, fake,
Original fake.
future, past.
Don't you see that? It's cool because we're constantly throwing words that have opposite meanings on the screen.
Hero Dark. Like, as weird as it is in the fact that, yes, they are throwing random gibberish at you. Master Emerald. High speed escape. Also, yes, the truck looks different there too.
Oh god, wait, Sonic's taking over the world?
Of course.
Damn.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Knuckles the Echidna. Dr. Eggman.
Robot,
Playable for the first time. Showdown.
Wait, we're gonna play a showdown?
Revenge. Who's revenge?
Chaos
Revenge the
Emerald.
Hedgehog.
Don't you see?
You mean
don't you see
details,
that?
Emerald.
Don't you see that? For you, Maria, I promise you. Revenge.
Ultimate Light.
There he is, the
Ah,
man
I got
himself.
Life because of the
Okay.
The hedgehog himself.
For Sonic
10th anniversary.
Okay, so let me set the stage for you. And yes, it's coming to the Dreamcast. So, allow me to put into context some of the bouts here. So, as you may have noticed, Sonic, Knuckles, and Dr. Eggman were advertised as the playable characters at the time. Noticeably missing 3 other characters, except for that certain character who shows up at the end. Except, he was not known as Shadow at the time. No, literally no one had any idea who that character was going to be. He was actually codenamed as, and I kid you not, Dark Sonic in the advertising prior to his identity being revealed.
I mean, it's better than what Silver's code name was, Venice.
But yeah, most notably though, only Sonic, Dr. Eggman, and Knuckles are shown as playable. This goes into the big regard that originally the game was going to be about those 3 being playable, essentially. In fact, before Shadow was even in the picture, apparently originally the main antagonist was supposed to be an anthropomorphic female cat who had abilities similar to Sonic, but that idea never took off. Isn't that a shame, Blaze?
Damn. Deep cut.
But I digress, and yes, there is a lot of what could have been. In fact, since we're on that topic, let's talk about what Shadows was originally supposed to be, because before the name Shadow, he was originally supposed to be called Terios, which means reflection of, and he had designs more similar to Sonic, as you can see here.
I'm noticing the ones in the bottom that make him look like it was actually drawn by Ken Penders.
Now, as far as I know, Ken Penders did not have,
The man doesn't need another thing
Oh my
that needs to be
God.
claim.
But
Alright.
yeah.
Nah, sorry, nothing can look as bad as that. Anyway.
Even so, what the hell am I looking at?
These were originally supposed to be Shadow's designs, and yes, as you can
OC,
see,
do not steal.
As you can see, the idea was more so to make him quite reflective of Sonic, but obviously darker. They even gave him scars and a cape at some point. Holy
Because
cow.
it's so cool.
Yeah.
Capes are cool, shut up.
Yeah, quite a difference from the design that they would eventually settle on. But he's not the only one who went through some changes. See, now at some point, when they decided to focus more on the dichotomy of good and evil, it was decided that, well, obviously for the evil team, Dr. Eggman would need help against the likes of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. So of course, Shadow would be the equivalent for Sonic, but about Rouge. Rouge also had a different design, essentially, and her original name was supposed to be Nails, because it rhymes with tails. And I guess it would also contrast with Knuckles as well. This is what she was originally supposed to look like.
She looks more like more similar to Amy with this design. Also, I'm noticing that despite the proportions that are still there, this design is way less sexualized than the final product.
I mean, in more ways than one, because yes, Rouge did eventually end up becoming the femme fatale. Now,
Like she literally has a heart for a shirt.
Now, of course, Shadow's final design would be made by Yuji Uekawa, who's so proud of that design that he feels so close to Shadow, almost as if Shadow were a son of his, apparently. Go figure. And of course, as you may know, he is Izuka's favorite character. Yes, the director of this game, Takashi Izuka, considers Sonic Adventure 2 to be his favorite game, and, well, I can't blame him. While sadly we're not covering Sonic Adventure first, let me let you know, Sonic Adventure 2 was made to essentially ramp up concepts from Sonic Adventure 2 up to a level. Minus the hub world, sadly, but no, like, the stages for Sonic would be faster, more extravagant, more bombastic. The treasure hunting stages for Knuckles would be bigger, and also a lot more varied.
For the worse.
A lot more varied in difference and mechanics, and if you play it a certain way, I actually was able to have fun with them, I digress. And as for the third and final gameplay style, well, let's just say, despite poor Gamma being dead, rest in peace, his style would see a return for Dr. Eggman and Tails. But
that and let's face it, 2024 is the year of Shadow, so it only makes sense to do this.
Yes, that's part of why we're doing this, essentially. Okay, yes, because Shadow took the world by storm with mysteries. Like, if you've ever been in, like, one of those online discussions where people are discussing stuff, like, this was, like, I'd say the levels of everyone discussing how Endgame was going to turn out big. Like,
also, good timing because, with the DBZ comparison, those were the years, these early 2000s, where DBZ was exploding in popularity in America, and as a result, everyone and their mother was literally gushing for Vegeta, so the parallels were right there.
Apparently, Shadow may have been a bit inspired by Vegeta as well. In fact, though, they were playing up the evil counterpart big time. How much? Well, originally, Ryan Drummond was supposed to voice for Sonic and Shadow. In fact, there's even some leftover dialogue recordings of him voicing a Shadow. He doesn't sound bad, honestly, though I am glad with how we ended up with David Humphrey. Regardless.
Well, this concept will be used later with Jason Griffith voicing both.
That and remember, in Sonic Heroes, Ryan Drummond is also the voice of Metal Sonic, so the whole Ryan Drummond voicing Sonic's evil counterpart still got used in that game. So.
That is nice. And as for how big this game was, Sega actually partnered up with a company for this game, Soap, which is why Sonic has special shoes. And yes, here's where I blow your minds with the fact that Soap Shoes actually were a real company at the time, who designed shoes specifically for grinding on rails. Sadly, though, they would die out when they lost to Heelys. Yes, for those who don't remember, Heelys were those shoes with the wheels in the heels, essentially. But yeah, so now essentially Soap Shoes live on through Sonic, which is shown as of recent even in Sonic Frontiers. Good stuff. So, the hype was in for Shadow. Everyone and their mother was wondering, who is this guy? Who is this Dark Sonic? There were all the theories, all the discussions, and everything. So, with hype ramping up, let's look at, of course, the original Dreamcast trailer, specifically the Experiments one, which is quite interesting now knowing what goes on in the plot.
Subject A, good hedgehog.
Yay.
Yay!
Subject B, evil hedgehog.
What?
Someone saw Jurassic Park.
Yes, that evil hedgehog just mauled that cow.
Hey, I was hungry that day.
Foreshadow the evil hedgehog and conquer it. What kind
They
of
keep me in here without food.
Rated E for everyone, only on Dreamcast.
Okay. Yeah, these was
Well,
the
that
time
was a thing.
this was 2001. Video game commercials were basically bonkers at this point. So I'm not too surprised.
Also, only on Dreamcast. If only they knew.
Mm-hmm.
So was that for like a year?
Yeah,
So,
So, yeah, again, the game came, people loved it, but sadly, the Dreamcast could not be saved. In Wit's turn, Sonic made his new debut via Nintendo, and thus come in the Sonic Adventure 2 battle commercials. Let's have a look at them, shall we?
You're a hedgehog, and you have supersonic powers.
Ball up right now and roll! Action!
I'll admit, I actually do remember these commercials from my
Hey,
childhood.
focus!
I want you to think about the marketing opportunities here.
Okay, in front of the paper.
What part of supersonic speed do you not understand?
He's
Red
so
Hedgehog is
cute.
hard to find.
Yes, they
Sonic
are.
Adventure 2 Battle with extra 2-player action. Only on
Make sure you
Nintendo
don't touch
GameCube.
them.
Rated E for everyone.
Oh?
I'm sorry I yelled at you.
Oh, at least
Oh, I
you
should
Yeah, you
mention-
should be.
Oh, yeah, about what I said earlier. In Japan, the exclusivity to the Dreamcast didn't even last till the end of 2001. Japan got the battle version in late December of 2001.
But what about the other battle commercials?
Well, let's have a look at commercial B, shall we?
There is supersonic hedgehog combat in the Nintendo GameCube, so give me everything you got. Give it to me! Go! No, hey, where are you going?
Well, you
Get
said
back
for them to
Red
go.
Hedgehog is hard to find. Sonic, only on Nintendo GameCube.
I'm
Rated E
out
for
of here!
everyone.
That they are. That they are.
They got bored and it's like,
do
hang on, we
things-
already played this game. Fuck this, right?
They're not paid enough for this.
Do things
no,
improve
I guess
for
not.
commercial Siege or
Yeah, let's say it does.
This is supersonic hedgehog combat. Good versus evil, strong versus weak, blonde versus brown hedgie. Go! Go! No!
The Red Hedgehog is hard to find.
Pointless.
Sonic, only on Nintendo
Alas.
GameCube. Rated E for everyone.
But you know what? Just for the sake of it, and if you guys can make heads or tails of it, let us actually look at the Japanese commercial after all.
Hey, the Shibuya building I also noticed.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is your typical Sonic Japanese commercial.
Just I miss Segata Sanshiro, if I had to be honest.
Oh, that too. Everybody does. I mean,
Amen. to that, brother.
And yeah, people who watch, hang on, wait, people watch that advert at 10 past 7 in the morning. How the hell could they understand it being half asleep still? Like, if I woke up at 10 past 7 and that was the first thing I saw, I'd be like, wait, am I in a dream or a nightmare?
And finally, let us have a look at the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle Japanese commercial.
The GameCube
With
one.
subtitles. So,
Yes, this one
yay.
actually does have subtitles after all.
GameCube.
Someone stop that guy!
What?
Miracle. Sonic is a superstar.
Sonic is the superstar.
Look at him go.
Okay, so basically, there was a robbery. Sonic did nothing except run past the car, and the police caught up to him anyway.
noticed,
So,
I
thanks,
had-
Sonic.
I
You
had
did
to be
My work
honest.
here is
absolutely
done.
nothing.
I had to be honest. This looked like a Icarus kit.
I noticed how Sonic in this commercial is operating on secret rings at
He
the
cannot
beginning of
stop.
the game.
I can't
no,
stop.
No. At the beginning of the game where he's running super slow in that game. So until you get all the level ups.
All right, let's cast the actual person that could run at supersonic speeds and put him in the out.
Indeed.
Alright. So, that's the advertisement. We've already told you some of the history. But, you know, I think we can go into more details during the actual game itself. That being said, though, before we begin, as I've mentioned, I'm playing what can be considered the definitive way to play Sonic Adventure 2. on a PC with mods. Mods provided to me and aided in installing via Pedro, who
a lot of mods.
Me a list of mods.
Yeah, yes. Is it customary with a lot of PC ports, especially done around that time? For these days, they require a lot of support.
Indeed. Basically, everybody, after Sonic Adventure 2 came out on the Dreamcast, every port that came after it basically made it worse. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle added some really cool content that makes it still even out to be the definitive way to play the game back then, but the sound mixing got even worse than it was in the Dreamcast version. Some assets were changed, and lighting was changed for reasons that don't seem to make any sense.
Also, the big cameos were removed.
The big cameos were removed, yeah.
Although, to give Sega credit, they brought those back in the PC version.
Yes, they did bring that back in the PC version, at least. So we didn't need a mod, fortunately, to input those back. So basically, everybody, allow me to give you a basic idea of what you do if you're playing Sonic Adventure 2 on Steam. To make a long story short, get Sonic Adventure Mod Manager, which serves for both Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2. It's made by an awesome, one of the best Sonic modders, Sora. Yes, that's his username, Sora. And basically, here are some of the. I'm not going to talk all the mods that we're using, but I'm going to give them a basic rundown. Aside from generic rendering and animation fixes that we have, as well as mods that restore Dreamcast assets that were lost in the battle port, we also have an interesting mod that I want to talk about, which is cutscene revamp. What is cutscene revamp? Basically, the cutscenes are changed to have better timing, as well as the music being changed so that they can have some better experiences. Like, for example, being able to hear Eggman in the Teria scene, for example. That's just to give you one of the many examples off the top of my head. But Squirm, I hear you say. Well, I'm one of those people who actually prefer the Dreamcast opening movie over the battle movie. Well, no, I don't know why would you prefer that, but hey, the cutscene revamp mod gives you an option to revert back to the Dreamcast intro. So if for whatever reason you prefer that one, have that. This mod's for you, I guess. We also have some one that turns all the 2D assets in HD so that they look better on HD TV. A menu overhaul mod that restores the Omo Chow tutorial, which we will be using because, yeah, like I don't really like what they did in the Steam version instead. And we also have, get this, Sonic Adventure 2 volume controls.
Amazing.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Have you ever wanted to be able to understand what the characters are actually saying?
We're powerful now.
I would like to give some major props to both Speeps for making the cutscene revamp mod, and for Shadatic for making the Sonic Adventure 2 volume controls mod. Yes, you can actually now control the fucking volume settings of this fucking game. Not to mention, Shadatic also made a Dreamcast mech voices restoration mod, because some of the voices you hear from the mechs, both in boss battles and in stages, were lost in the battle port for some reason. Once again, Shadatic restored them. The Idle Chatter mod, which Joe will be using, which is also done by Speeps. This is one that I'm sure Jova will appreciate a lot, by Kel, Kesnos, and also Speeps. The Better Radar mod. Jova, want to talk about the better radar mod, since I'm sure this is something that you appreciate in particular?
It essentially turns the radar in Adventure 2 back into the radar from Adventure 1, but improved, essentially. I'll explain more about this later on, but I'll just say this right now. This mod actually helped me be able to better appreciate the treasure hunting stages for all the cool gimmicks and different looks that they can have, because, well, it made them much more fun to play. Not that some aren't without their issues, but I digress.
Basically, audience, if you don't have experience much when it comes to PC modding and stuff, use as your tool the PC gaming wiki, Wikia, because it's very useful for this kind of thing. As the page of Sonic Adventure 2 near the bottom has an entire set of list of mods that are recommended to you, and usually they give you actually a tutorial on how to properly install them.
All right. So that's the basic gist of it.
So yes, we've got the mods. You've seen some of the hype that was built up for this game. Now, for those who haven't experienced Sonic Adventure 2 before, prepare to be amazed, and I am so happy you chose our channel to be the channel to guide you through your first experience. So, without further ado, in the next part, let us begin Sonic Adventure 2 Battle HD.
And Knuckles. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.